So it is my true pleasure today to welcome warmly Director General, Dean and Professor Foundation of Global Leadership and Global Futures, Sanjeev Khagram from Thunderbird School of Global Management, Arizona State University. A warm welcome to you, Khagram.
Thank you so much, Mette. It's an honor and privilege to be with you. And Prime is one of our most important partnerships, so we're all in.
Thank you so much. And as I was preparing for our conversation, I was looking into your undergraduate, your graduate programs, your executive programs, and across all your programs, I see a systematic integration of sustainable development, responsible management. It's like an ethos of the school. I also saw that you are #1 Master in Management, by the Times Higher Education, Washington Journal in 2019, and #1 in the US for innovation by US News and World Report just recently. I know that you've been the dean actually only for 3.5 years at Thunderbird, and I was looking a little bit into the statistics, and I saw that how you have been starting out 3.5 years ago with 2 regional centers of excellence globally. Today, I understand that you have 16 centers of excellence around the world in Asia, Latin America, Africa, Europe, and of course, North America. And I understand also that soon there will be 18 centers of excellence. And you are yourself based in Arizona. So what a terrific growth and what a terrific development for Thunderbird. And of course, I'm proud to know that you are a long-standing supporter of Prime. Actually, you were one of the first schools to sign up in 2008. And as we know, 2007, the year before, was when Prime was founded. So I'd like you to start off with asking you to reflect a little bit on your journey, why and how personally you've engaged your tremendous network of schools on the sustainable development agenda.
Thank you so much, Mette. I mean, it comes back to so much of my own personal life. I think you know, and many of our colleagues know, I was fourth generation Ugandan. My family was the 20th wealthiest family in the country, and I was born in Jinja. We were expelled by Idi Amin in 1972, lost everything, went to refugee camps, were there for a long time, and then were sponsored in the United States. So our vision at Thunderbird, a world of sustainable and equitable prosperity and peace, goes very much back to my belief that if we had had that, the experience that my family and many others around the world have had of displacement and loss would not happen. Thunderbird, as you said, for 75 years, and certainly since 2008 with Prime, and even before that with the UN Global Compact, has been committed to this vision and partnering with incredible institutions like Prime and the UN Global Compact and many others to advance not only educational transformation, such as to make sure that it's at a core of what we teach, and we empower our not only students but lifelong learners, executives with sustainability, ESG, diversity, equity, and inclusion, a global mindset of bringing the world together, but also in creating solutions for the world. So I joined Thunderbird, as you said, 3.5 years ago. Thunderbird was, and has been for 75 years, a well-recognized international institution of international business and management. Went through some difficult times. We joined Arizona State University in 2014. When I came in, we were in quite desperate times, to be totally honest, but we have engineered what Forbes is going to soon put out as the greatest turnaround in higher education history in the last 3.5 years. We've grown 300% or more in terms of student body. We've gone from very much in the red to very much in the black, which is important mostly because of the impact it allows us to achieve. We've transformed our curriculum to be global and digital, ESG, sustainability, DEI, soup to nuts in every program. We've launched incredible new programs. Just to give you one example, we just launched the world's first ever graduate program in space leadership, business and policy in Los Angeles. We're very excited about that. And as you said, we've gone on a massive global expansion that includes completing this $85–90 million global headquarters, which we believe to be now the most technologically advanced in the world. Every piece of technology, from robots to digital tables to AR, VR language labs, exist in this global headquarters, and then our centers around the world. When I came in, we had Moscow and Geneva. We're just starting with Dubai and Tokyo. Now we have 16, soon to be 18, as you mentioned. We're going to add Mumbai and Bogota. Then we'll get to 20 by the end, 20 to 22 by the end of this academic year, and 25. We really see this as part of being engaged with our partners, our alumni. Our alumni are our greatest asset. We have 50,000 degree alumni in 140 countries around the world. We've been a global institution for 75 years. To engage them, to do thought leadership, to do executive education, and finally, to make sure that we're partnering effectively with the university partners, the corporates, the governments, the nonprofit institutions, civil society around the world to advance the SDGs. And inside ASU, with the ASU Global Futures Lab and College, we coordinate our university-wide SDG task force. And so it's been quite a time through the pandemic. We're proud of what we've accomplished, but we feel like we're just getting started. We have so much more we want to contribute to the world with great partners like you, Meta, and Prime.
Well, that's fantastic. What a journey and what a development for Thunderbird over the years, and in particular over the past few years here. So I would love to hear you sort of your experiences with the students and how you engage the students and how the students become better learners within Thunderbird on the SDGs and on the sustainable development more generally.
Well, from the time that we're recruiting students, we emphasize that this is who we are, that sustainability, the SDGs, ESG, global and digital, the 21st century, this is diversity, equity, this is who Thunderbird is. We have, as we've talked about before, an oath of honor that we ask all of our students, all of our faculty, staff, alumni, partners to commit to, and it has 3 fundamental principles. We oppose all forms of corruption and exploitation. We respect the rights and dignity of all people, and we advance sustainable and equitable prosperity worldwide. That's in the core of the value set of Thunderbird. It then weaves through our foundations experience to, the week that students come onto campus and we get them to understand who we are even in a deeper way. They all, as you mentioned, I think, have to take in all the different programs at least one course on sustainability and these values. These capabilities are woven through in our entire programs. We have many non-degree programs, the Young Social Innovators Program with the UN Global Compact. We have ESG executive education programs and climate competent boards. So really soup to nuts, all of our learners that we engage, including high school students, by the way, that we do programs for to invest, entrepreneurship, innovation for sustainable development. That's sort of the core of it for us in everything that we do.
No, it's a wonderful journey, and also the focus on, you could sort of say the professionalization of the manager within that ethos of sustainable development is really admirable. I also understand, and I have not spoken with you about this before, but I learned just recently, just about 1 month ago, that you just launched the Najafi Thunderbird ASU 100 Billion Leader initiative. And I would love you to talk more about this particular initiative.
Thank you so much. We launched it on January 20th with an incredible $25 million initial gift and co-intellectual architecting with Francis and Dion Jaffe, 2 of our incredible alumni. The idea was that we want to reach 100 million learners around the world with a 5-course digital certificate in global management, entrepreneurship, and innovation, with a major focus again on new technologies and being successful in the new global economy, but embedding in that a set of values around sustainability and equity and inclusion, SDGs. The 5 courses will be launched on April 8th. Every 2 months, by the end of the year, we'll have the 5 courses. They'll be translated initially first into English, and they'll be in English and then 9 other languages, including Arabic, Bahasa, Hindi, Swahili, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, Farsi, and then up to 40 languages over about 2 years. The courses will be no cost, fully scholarship, so learners around the world can access them no matter what their financial means, because it's no cost. After they complete one of the courses, any one of the courses, they get a badge, a digital badge to show to employers, partners, to hold for themselves as symbols of their achievement from Thunderbird and ASU. If they complete all 5 courses, they get all 5 badges and an executive education certificate from Thunderbird and ASU, or a lifelong learning certificate. And then they can, if they've gotten a B average or better in the 5-course meta, this is perhaps another important unique, apply and get 15 credits of university credits, university units that they could stack onto degrees, certainly with us, but also transport to anywhere in the world. It's our commitment, again, to advance sustainable and equitable prosperity with an educational program that's truly at scale. Perhaps the best way to think about it at ASU, we judge ourselves by who we include, not who we exclude. At Thunderbird, it's always about global and how do we create global impact. And so this is really, innovation, inclusion, impact at global scale.
That is an amazing opportunity for students at no cost and a full scholarship program to enter. And can I ask you, what are your hopes and expectations for this grant initiative, and when you sort of expect to sort of see the first, you could sort of say, societal impact from it?
Well, in an interesting way, just announcing it, Meta has had an impact. It's galvanized energy and people have gotten inspired. We have partners all over the world, learners sending in now their RFIs. So it's already sort of begun. We really think of it as a global movement. And all we're proud to do is be the humble servants to help bring it to life in the world. As we continue, our goal is to get somewhere in the order of 1 to 10,000 learners at the time, 1,000 to 10,000 learners in April 8th when we launch the first course. By the end of the year, hopefully to 100,000 learners, and then it sort of grows from there as those learners start to be empowered by the content and the engagement. Also be part of a global community of 100 million learners, right? That they can engage with one another. We see these are the future. For us, our vision is a world of sustainable and equitable prosperity and peace. Our mission is to empower a next generation of global leaders, managers, entrepreneurs for the 4th industrial revolution and the Anthropocene, in terms of where we are, right? In terms of a planet that is not only surviving but thriving. So this is what we see as possible going forward. And there's lots of criticisms, as you can imagine. It's crazy, it's too many, it's not, so forth and so on. We think those are fair. It's not going to be easy, but we have rolled up our sleeves, and we believe that the world right now, particularly as we're still battling with this COVID-19 pandemic, needs to be inspired, needs to have moonshots that can help us all feel that there is a great future ahead of us. And so we're committed to this.
I certainly, when I was reading about this, I certainly thought that this is a beautiful, wonderful moonshot, as you say, and I'd be thrilled to follow it and see how you go with it. And also to as appreciate what you're saying, that it has already, you could sort of say, started its impact by inspiring. And I can tell you that I was indeed inspired when I was reading about this, and I know many of my peers and colleagues out there feel the same way. So there'll be a lot of eyes watching you and see how you do this as a source of inspiration, hopefully for many others to follow. So congratulations with that huge achievement already. I noted another thing on your webpage, which I was really curious to ask you about, and that's the sort of, you have a specific space on your website saying lifelong learning. And lifelong learning is something I discuss a lot with faculty and with deans, and many are doing some, and many, even many more, want to do even more. But I would love you to talk a little bit about lifelong learning and how you engage that at Thunderbird.
Absolutely. And I think that it's, again, this partnership between ASU and Thunderbird and ASU. Over our 75-year history, we've actually touched, Meta, we estimate somewhere in the order of 1.5 to 2 million learners around the world at different stages of their lives. We have an incredible program called Dream Builder, which has empowered 220,000 women entrepreneurs, young women, older women, all around the world in 110 countries around the world. We have, our Moscow office, one of our centers that have been a long time, has actually touched 550,000 professionals across the CIS over the last 26 years. We really think, with Thunderbird and now at ASU, we have what's called the learning enterprise, which is about non-degree lifelong learning from K to grade, from K to grade. So we have programs for, learners at the kindergarten, K to 5, all the way up, both analog in person, but also digital, available all over the world. We have created, through our centers, opportunities for more and more learners to continuously upskill, reskill, learn more, engage more. And so our vision, it connects to the 100 million learners, it's through the full life cycle. It's multiple different opportunities, various different opportunities, both, in person, all the way to 100% asynchronous digital and all the combinations in between, because certainly we believe in the core undergraduate, graduate, doctoral degrees. That's, our core. But we know, given the dynamism of the world we live in, that everyone needs access to learning throughout their lives. And so it's part of also being part of a community. So it's been a big part of our work, learning and education and solutions. And so if I can mention the other thing that we're really focused on is creating solutions for the planet. Of course, education is a solution. And so at COP26, we launched the Global Carbon Removal Partnership. Since Davos in January 2020, we advanced a task force on carbon removal. We believe that there's 3 critical pillars for climate transformation: adaptation, mitigation, decarbonization, and removing legacy carbon from the atmosphere using natural and technological solutions. It's an area that's been underemphasized in the international community, despite the IPCC 2018 report prioritizing it. So we now have a multi-stakeholder global partnership led by the governments of Kenya and Colombia, private sector companies, civil society institutions, academic institutions, that was formally launched at COP26. We have to remove, as everyone knows, 1 trillion, if not multi-trillions of tons from the atmosphere. It's like waste management, right? Planetary waste management, alongside adaptation and mitigation. Long story short, our goal is to make COP27 the carbon removal COP. And so that's what we're focused on the solution side as well.
But how wonderful is that, not that you as a business school, as a school of management, actually engage so deeply and so systematically in this agenda? Because, we often look at our colleagues in the technical sciences and the natural sciences taking a lead in this agenda. I think what you're showing here is that we can also, as social science and as management schools, really show how we can make a contribution, because at the end of the day, we do educate those business leaders who make the decisions.
And the government leaders. It is about leadership, Mette. It's about leadership and management. All the science which we need, we believe fully in science and evidence, but all of that can change the world. It is leaders and managers that we train at business and management and leadership schools. So we're really proud, again, to be part of Prime. Your leadership has been extraordinary. We're so grateful to you. And we're, like I said, we have our sleeves rolled up and going to keep on focusing on moving forward and contributing to making the world sustainable and equitable.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev. I would love to stop here, but I have one more urgent question for you, because that was a wonderful. I just wanted to thank you again for contributing to the, we made these Prime Best 10s, and we of course made a Prime Best 10 Dean's books. What do Deans read and recommend these days? And you were gracious enough to provide a recommendation for fellows out there, and you recommended to read Made for Goodness and Why This Makes All the Difference by Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And maybe you would end off this conversation, this Prime Dean's Dialogue, to talk a little bit about why you recommend us to read this book.
I think there's 3 reasons. One is that my greatest honor and privilege was to work for Archbishop Tutu as the Dean of the Desmond Tutu Peace Center. And when one is with people like Archbishop Tutu and the Dalai Lama, who we spent a lot of time with when I was there, you really feel grace, Mette. And the world needs more of that. It needs more grace. As leaders, as managers, as people, as humanity, we've gone through so much, all of us, ourselves, our families, our communities. Number 2 is that we know that the world needs compassion and empathy, belief in one another, a belief in the fundamental goodness that we hold as human beings. And number three is that, as much as we believe in the craft of leadership, the technical sides, the cognitive sides, all of the things that we teach, we know that leaders are about heart and soul. This is what leadership is. That's what it is. And so whether it's this book or others, I encourage all of our students and learners and leaders and managers and professionals around the world to find whatever it is that gives you that emotional strength, because, and dare I say spiritual, it doesn't have to be religious, but spiritual, whatever you draw on, because when we talk about resilience and agility and all the things that are absolutely essential to be a good leader, a great leader in the 21st century, it starts from the heart and the soul. So that's why I offered that book.
Sanjeev, thank you so much for this, for taking the time for this Prime Dean's Dialogue, and for giving a little bit of insight into the impressive work that is going on at Thunderbird, and all the things that you have engaged in and that you are continuing to engage in, and of course also your long-standing support for Prime. But also thank you so much for ending off this dialogue with focusing upon the emotional strength and the empathy that is needed for leaders in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mette. Please stay safe and healthy. All the best.